Good evening, everyone. This is Melissa Thomas with Florida National News coming to you with the evening news rundown for your Thursday, July 16th, 2020. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Now, a quick note for those of us who may be small business owners and watching the show. We are welcoming ads on our platforms. We have about 5 shows that are running. So if you're interested in advertising, looking for a place to advertise, we welcome you. You can email us at ads@floridanationalnews.com. Now into the show, of course. You guys know we like to give you the latest COVID-19 reports globally here in the United States and in the state of Florida. So globally, the World Health Organization is reporting over 13.3 million confirmed cases and over 580,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the United States, Johns Hopkins University is reporting over 3.5 million confirmed cases and well over 137,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the state of Florida, the Department of Health is reporting over 315,000 confirmed cases and over 4,600 confirmed deaths. The momentum continues. Now, jumping over into our world story for you guys, another section of Spain has entered into a localized lockdown. The town of Lleida, Spain, is about 110 miles west of Barcelona, and they have had to enter into a localized lockdown. So far, that's a group of about 160,000 citizens there. Now, they have had to do that due to the increase in cases in the area. Hotels, restaurants, and bars have been forced to close again and will only be allowed to continue trading through customer collections or home delivery. This is being reported by Sky News, by the way. And, Spain's national lockdown had ended on June 21st, but since then, 170 clusters of COVID-19 have sprung up, which is what has forced the localized lockdown there. Now, jumping here to the US, speaking of COVID-19 and possibly catching it, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has actually tested positive for COVID-19. He made the announcement on Wednesday during a press conference. He mentioned that he is feeling okay, at least he was feeling okay at the time of the press conference. The day before, he said he was feeling a bit achy. Now, Governor Stitt is first of all, he's the first governor that we know of to have contracted COVID-19. And so far, he has maintained his stance on not issuing a statewide mask mandate. And even during the press conference on Wednesday, he maintained that position. So, hey, we'll continue to keep you guys posted on that. Now, jumping here to the state of Florida, in a bit of a positive news, Daytona International Airport is issuing CARES kits to departing passengers. They wanted to make sure that passengers are able to leave safely, make sure they have the necessary items that they need on their travels. They wanted to help limit the spread of COVID-19 while traveling. So the kits include hand sanitizer, a face covering, luggage tag, mints, and a thank you card. So the airport wanted to step up its sanitizing and safety procedures during the pandemic to keep travelers as safe as possible as part of the Ready to Fly initiative that combines enhanced safety practices such as deep cleaning and disinfection and social distancing, sanitizer stations, free face coverings, and public messaging. So that is some great news there. Now, in the meantime, guys, as always, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to come back with a few more news stories for you. Stay tuned.
My name is Russell Drake. I'm an Orange County resident and a community advocate. On August 18th, I'm voting for Rick Singh. Rick Singh has been an outstanding property appraiser for the last 7 years. Under his leadership, he has returned $1 billion to the county. Under his leadership, property value has gone up, and he is now managing over $206 billion in assets, the most in county history. Under his leadership, there have been a series of awards won by his hard-working staff. He has set the tone for that. Furthermore, he's a man of his word. He's no stranger to the community. From the east to the west, from the north to the south, property appraiser Rick Singh is in the community. He held a series of homestead exemption seminars around the county, catering to your needs. Rick Singh is here for the people. So on August 18th, I encourage you and everyone you know to vote Rick Singh, re-elect him for property appraiser.
Re-elect Rick Singh for Orange County Property Appraiser.
All right, guys, welcome back to the evening news rundown. A couple of big U.S. stories for you. Now, the biggest one you likely heard already, But several massive names have actually been the victims of a Bitcoin / Twitter scam. Jeff Bezos, former President Barack Obama, and a couple of presidential candidates, former Vice President Joe Biden, as well as former candidate Michael Bloomberg, and several other celebrities have fallen victim to this particular scam. Bill Gates as well. Here's the tweet that went out to entice everyone to give their money. It says, "Everyone is asking me to give back." This was the hack that happened with Bill Gates. "Everyone is asking me to give back, and now is the time. I am doubling all payments sent to my BTC address for the next 30 minutes. You send $1,000, I send you back $2,000. So of course, with something like that, there was definitely a response. Now, what's interesting about this particular story, celebrities who were targeted, they, also included Kanye West, his wife Kim Kardashian, and rapper Wiz Khalifa. They targeted all the big names possible. The tweets promised a reward, of course. You guys heard that when I was reading the particular tweet. It was sent to a specific address. This time, however, the scheme secured more than $100,000 in less than an hour. So that was pretty big. Since the hack involved high-profile accounts that use multi-factor authentication, it is, quote, highly likely that those who executed the action knew Twitter. They kind of understood how Twitter works. And this was according to Michael Borowski, who is the director of software engineering at the cybersecurity company Synopsys, headquartered in California. He did the research for what happened behind this case. You guys likely heard this story a little bit earlier in the day. And not to mention, there were a couple of other big names as well, including Apple and Uber in terms of their corporate accounts. They were targeted, and even Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. Like, all of these people were targeted in this particular cryptocurrency hack. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep your social media accounts safe. Watch what you're doing. We are all vulnerable. Now, jumping down here to the state of Florida, you likely heard this afternoon, but the Amendment 4 case that has been kind of going back and forth here in the state of Florida and out of the state as well. The case went to Atlanta, Georgia as well in several courts. Unfortunately, the U.S. Supreme Court has decided to decline to hear arguments in that case. So as a result, ex-felons will not be able to participate in the 2020 election as a result of this decision. Now, on Tuesday, attorneys for Governor Ron DeSantis' office sent a letter to the U.S. Supreme Court urging them not to hear the arguments in the case. You guys heard us report on this last month about the decision that was done by federal Judge Hinckley, who said it was that Florida's decision to impose the ex-felons to pay back restitution or any legal fees as something of a poll tax. He believed that this was something that is unfair to folks coming out of prison because they likely would not have the funds to be able to make that repayment, and is a way of penalizing them from voting. But since the U.S. Supreme Court has chosen to decline to hear the arguments, ex-felons will not be able to vote. Not all of the U.S. Supreme Court justices were on board with the decision, though. In her dissent, Justice Sotomayor, who was also backed by Justices Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Elena Kagan, she blasted the decision by the 11th Circuit to make the drastic change to stay the injunction right before the elections. She said, state officials had already started implementing the federal judge's ruling from back in May, which allowed felons to register to vote, because he did require that. He wanted felons to register to vote if they were represented by a public defender. So that had already begun to take place. And she said, quote, "The plaintiffs have raised serious claims, some of which the 11th Circuit had already found likely to succeed. Because the parties' rights and legal framework had been well established, it was error for the 11th Circuit to reverse course in an unexplained stay order right before an election." So a bit of a big story there, and a bit of unfortunate news to the over 60,000 ex-felons that stood the chance to be able to vote in this year's elections. For their part, the attorneys at Governor Ron DeSantis' office expressed their relief and their strong disagreement with Judge Hinckley's decision when he decided to strike down their particular ruling. But that brings us to our audience question. What are your thoughts on the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to decline to hear those arguments? What are your thoughts on Amendment 4? Do you feel that, ex-felons deserve the right to vote, particularly in this year's elections? Give us your comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. Now, in another Florida story, given the rise in COVID-19 cases here in the state of Florida, that is a public health concern. Well, the Jacksonville Republican National Convention, there might be some consideration to move the venue outdoors. A couple of representatives from President Trump's reelection campaign went on Fox News this week to talk about that, and they mentioned that it is a possibility that they will move the convention to an outdoor venue. So two of the venues that they are considering, of course, the current scheduled venue is ViStar Arena, which the convention is meant to happen on August 24th. So the two other venues they're considering, which are within walking distance of ViStar Arena, is the 121 Financial Ballpark, which is where they hold minor league baseball games there and can hold up to 11,000 people. The other option is TIAA Bank Field, which football fans are very familiar with that field. That holds 65,000 people, 65,000 seat stadium, which is the home to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So stay tuned here. We will continue to keep you posted on that. Now, guys, we're going to take another quick commercial break, and we will come back with your business and your sports stories. So stay tuned.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
All right, guys, welcome back to the Evening News Rundown. Now, in your business story, you guys heard us report a couple weeks ago about Walmart deciding to mandate masks for their customers as they come in to shop. Well, Kohl's and Kroger are now joining in on that. Those retailers and rivals of Walmart have decided to go ahead and mandate masks for their shoppers, as well as the COVID-19 cases continue to grow across the country. They want to continue to be as careful as possible. So, they've said in their statement, quote, as COVID-19 cases continue to rise, face covering mandates have grown to apply to approximately 70% of our store base. Therefore, we've made the decision to take a consistent approach across the entire store fleet. This is what Kohl's said in their statement. Now, Kohl's mask mandate will start next Monday, July 20th. And the retailer said that there will be signage at the front of their store informing customers of the mask policy, and that the store associates have been placed at store entrances to welcome shoppers and remind them to wear masks. Similar to what you heard us report this week about Walmart placing their health ambassadors at the front to remind people to wear masks. For Kroger's part, their mask policy will go into effect on July 22nd. Now, Kohl's, Kroger's, and Walmart and Sam's Club are the latest to institute the policy, joining a growing list of companies such as Starbucks, Best Buy, BJ's Wholesale Club, Apple, Curate Retail Group, and Costco. So again, you guys always hear our exhortation here at Florida National News. Make sure you wear your masks, guard your hands, protect them, cover them, sanitize them, wash them as often as possible, because safety first, that is always important. We want to make sure you guys have your health. Now, jumping into our sports story very quickly, NHL Coach of the Year and Rookie of the Year finalists have been announced. So congratulations to those who have been announced. Now, they made the announcement of the finalists on Wednesday. So finalists include Vancouver Canucks defenseman Quinn Hughes, Chicago Blackhawks left wing Dominik Kubalik, and Colorado Avalanche defenseman Cole Makar. Those are the three finalists for the 2019-2020 Calder Memorial Trophy, awarded to, quote, the player selected as the most proficient in his first year of competition. Now, Bruce Cassidy of the Boston Bruins, John Tortorella of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Elaine Binault, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, of the Philadelphia Flyers are the three finalists for 2019-2020 Jack Adams Award, which is presented to the head coach who has contributed the most to his team's success. Now, among the coaches passed over, though, for the nominations were Pittsburgh's Mike Sullivan, Winnipeg's Paul Maurice, and the New York Islanders' Barry Trotz. as well as Edmonton's Dave Trippett. The award winners will be announced during the NHL's conference finals. So stay tuned here. You know, Casey is going to talk all about that when that occasion rolls around with the FNN Sports Take. But in the meantime, stay tuned. We're going to come back with your Entertainment 4 for 4 with Jamesia Stoudemire. So stay where you are.
It takes experience to know the difference in property values. For example, this business is not the same as this business. And this house is definitely not the same as this house. And this, well, this is definitely not the same as this. And that's why it's important to have someone who understands true property appraisals to help our community grow, while making sure everyone pays their fair share. Because experience matters. Re-elect Rick Singh for Orange County Property Appraiser.
All right, guys, welcome back. It is Thursday, so you guys already know what time it is. We have our lovely Jamesia Stoudemire coming in from Missouri with the Entertainment 4 for 4. All right, so we welcome the lovely Jamesia Stoudemire. How's it going?
Yeah, Alyssa, it's going well out here in Missouri. Had a little bit of rain, which is nice to see for a change, but we're doing pretty good out here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Sure.
So thank you all for tuning in. Today is July 17th, and this is Entertainment 4 for 4 with Jamesia Stoudemire. And we're going to get it started off with number 1. Nick Cannon wants ownership of his Wiling out and says ViacomCBS is on the wrong side of the fence. So, as many of you have been hearing in the news, Nick Cannon has severed ties, or ViacomCBS has severed ties with Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon is known for his franchise of Wiling Out on MTV, as well as being a child actor on Nickelodeon and has several things on BET. Now, whoever knew that the parent company was ViacomCBS? So why did this all come about? What recently took place is on Nick Cannon's personal podcast, Cannon's Class, he interviewed former Public Enemy rapper Richard Griffin, which is AKA Professor Griff, who left the group due to anti-Semitic remarks. So after having him on the show, Nick Cannon did say some things that now he has apologized for, but ViacomCBS has not changed their decision. And he's demanding that he gets full rights of his non-scripted TV show. Now, again, this show has been on MTV for over 15 years. I mean, all of us know about Wild 'N Out, from, you know, DC Young Fly to all the comedians that he has put on through this show. So since this has taken place, he also has apologized publicly, and there's a very lengthy letter that you can read on. He's tweeted it. It's been on Facebook, and you can also Google it. This article particularly is from AP News, but since then he has apologized, as well as apologizing publicly with privately speaking to Fox Network, and just saying that he was really sad. And it's really great because Nick Cannon, in his apology, actually asked to learn more and become a better person, and since then has actually been invited to Israel by some of their leaders to educate him and actually uplift him to learn more about the education of the statements that he made, so he can understand more that his remarks and how they did affect so many people. But interestingly enough, Fox is keeping him as the host of The Masked Singer. As they stated, they feel that he is definitely apologetic and wants to rectify the wrong that he did. And he did that with his apology. So I definitely stand behind Nick Cannon. I can't wait to see the amazing other things because he has some great things still in the bank. So don't count him out yet. Viacom is a big company. I know it's a big check, but we stand behind you, Nick. So do what you do is best. Number 2. Mary Trump tell-all book sees record-breaking sales. So, as you guys remember, a while ago, our president, Donald Trump, tried to stop his own niece from releasing her tell-all book about him, which isn't brand new. As you see right here, this is her new book, Too Much is Never Enough, and this is a picture of Miss Mary Trump herself. Some interesting things. So what has been the cool part? Simon & Schuster is actually the publisher of this amazing book. And she has had the record-breaking number of selling over 1 million copies, 1 million pre-order copies. Now, this is digital, physical, and audio. And the book hasn't even released yet. So we're interested to see where these numbers goes. And I definitely can see it being a #1 selling book. Some of the inside tips coming from the Daily Show. One, that President Donald Trump paid someone to take his SATs. All bad. And number two, he actually told his niece that she was stacked. All we can do is shake our head. But again, Trevor also on the Daily Show asked the question of, if she was in the Oval Office, what would she say to him right now? It's to resign. I guess that's her opinion. You guys let us know what you think. Number three, Mr. West makes Oklahoma general election ballot. So it's a little bit confusing. It's going back and forth between, is Mr. West running for president or is Mr. West not? Well, according to today's release, Mr. West is definitely moving full force ahead with his run for presidential candidate for 2020. So he's officially on the ballot in Oklahoma, as well as his former presidential campaign manager, Steve Comar, who recently left and said that he was no longer running, but he was able to get him on Florida and South Carolina. So now that's officially 3 ballots that Mr. West is going to be a part of. But the cool part is he's actually, as of Wednesday, has paid his $35,000 to the FEC and filed his statement of organization and his statement of candidacy as of today. So it looks like it's a real thing. We'll definitely have to keep you guys updated as we keep going, but hey, my vote goes for Mr. West. And number 4, today we have Vanity Fair has its first Black photographer to shoot the cover of Vanity Fair. How amazing is this? You see right here, Miss Viola Davis in this beautiful capture of this backless dress, that Mr. Dario Clamis, who is, again, the first African-American photographer to capture the cover of Vanity Fair. Now, in this full report, or this full article with Ms. Viola Davis, in the interview, she talks about racial injustice. She talks about being a Black woman in Hollywood, and also speaks on the fact of her new role as Michelle Obama. Some good tea. This magazine actually won't hit stands until July 21st, but some other interesting topics is that the editor-chief and staff, Rashida Jones, now she's been with Variety Fair for about 2.5 years now, and it is her set goal to add more diversity to the color of Vanity Fair. As in the 35 years that Vanity Fair has existed, 1983 to 2017, only 7 Black people have graced the cover of Vanity Fair. So this is definitely something that I'm excited for, and I definitely want to congratulate Miss Viola Davis on that beautiful picture. Some inspiration that Dario Clamis said was he was recreating the Louis, and excuse me if I pronounced this wrong, Agassiz slave portrait taken in the 1800s, and he wanted to reclaim the narrative. And King, that is what you did, because she looks fabulous. Again, this is Jamesia Stoudemire with your Entertainment 4 for 4. I want to thank you all for watching, and make sure you follow me at @E_ENT_mogul, and tune in this Friday to Entertainment Buzz as recording artist Javon Victoria is interviewed by Jenny Rosario. Melissa, back over to you.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. You actually helped me out with that announcement. Thank you so much for being here. It's always a blast to have you on the show. Awesome. All right, guys, you heard the lady. Later. You heard the lady. You know, we do have the lovely Javon Victoria coming on to the Entertainment Buzz tomorrow, and it is Friday, so you guys already know. Florida National News is always jam-packed on a Friday. So here is the lovely Javon Victoria, and here you can see her Spotify link on the very bottom of the page. So if you want to check out her material before you check out the interview tomorrow, or the replay, depending on what time you're available, Jenny Rosario goes live with her interview at 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and of course, noon Central. And of course, that is only the first show of the day. I will be back with the evening news rundown at 5 p.m. Eastern time, of course, which is, I'm starting to calculate now, 2 p.m. Pacific time, and of course, 4 p.m. Central. And since it is Friday, our lovely Casey Hudson will be back with the FNN Sports Take at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central. But that does it here for us at the Evening News Rundown. Guys, one more time, if you have not yet, be sure to like us, follow us, subscribe. You can find us at Florida National News, whether on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And a couple of our other Facebook pages include FNN News TV and FNN News Live. But be sure to tune in either way that you get it. And again, for our small business owners that are interested in advertising, just email us at ads@floridanationalnews.com. But thank you guys for tuning in as always. It is always a blast to serve you guys. Have a great rest of your evening.